Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about the GNU operating system or GNU/Linux operating system. Lately I have been using Arch, by the way, a lot. My first distro was Ubuntu. I used it for 2 days. I essentially dual booted it with Windows 10, and it was a living hell because the first thing I tried is I tried to install OBS from their GUI package manager, and it broke. So I went into the internet, went on the OBS website, plugged in a lot of commands that they gave me, just copy and paste, and I installed OBS. But now I had two versions of OBS, like two OBSs. One of them is broken, one of them isn't, and it frustrated me that I uninstalled Ubuntu and went back to Windows for the next 2 years. Then I went back and I found out that there is something called Pop OS, and yeah, that was the start. Pop OS. Glad I used it. Uh, I'm actually using it as we speak. I'm not using Arch uh, for Pop OS because actually, my house got robbed in the start of 2020, and I had a laptop and it got robbed. So now I have a desktop which has an NVIDIA GPU. I hate that, by the way. I loved it when I was playing my games on Windows, but now when I'm not playing games anymore, it's kind of just like a pain to set up with Linux. Not just uh, uh, I mean by Linux the whole GNU plus Linux stuff, whatever. Uh, this operating system. So here comes Papa OS with their pre-installed NVIDIA ISO graphics, whatever, already out of the box, simple, easy to use. I mean, by simple, easy to use, I mean you don't have to do it. Literally, you don't have to do anything. Just do your work. Just do your job. Um, Now, that was amazing, but I had this thing where I used Linux for Windows stuff. Like I came to Linux and I installed Steam and I installed Lutris and Wine and I installed QEMU and VirtualBox to run other operating systems like Arch. That's where I used to uh, install Arch like 2 times a day just to train. I would every single time break it. I mean, I wish I have done that with Gentoo. It would be worth my time better. But you know, I'm not doing that with Gentoo. I'm sticking to Pop! OS because once you are like far enough in the in 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 using Linux, you don't care about distro hop. You don't distro hop. You just stop distro hopping. That's it. Any distro, because you understand that a distribution is not the GUI, is not that. Distribution is under the hood. Is For me, the distribution is just a package manager. That's it. It's just what the package manager comes with. For the init system and the GNU core utils and the Linux, I can I can change that easily. It's not a problem. I mean, not the init system and the GNU core utils, you cannot change those, but the Linux kernel you can change, obviously. You can choose an LTS one or a Zen one or whatever other forks there are. I don't know, I haven't took a look at that. Uh, but coming back to Arch Linux, I used Arch Linux for the longest time with the DWM and ST and of course SL status for the bar. I hated DWM blocks. Like it isn't worth it. Even though you can script your own, you can script it, but I mean, it sounds like a cool idea. It is a cool idea, but I just got away with SL status. It's simple, easy to use, It's way easier than ST, really, and DWM and D menu, of course. Those three go with each other. But lately, other than not using ST, I used Alacrity, which worked very well with the emojis. My terminal finally stops crashing every single time there is an emoji in a file. Uh, because I would put emojis on my website, and I couldn't put emojis on my website. I still don't put them on my website, but maybe I will now that I am on PopOS. Now the question is, why did I hop from Arch Linux to PopOS? Is it that I want to play my games again? Is it, or is it something else? Now the true thing is, if you look at my website and my blog posts, you'll find that I tried FreeBSD, and essentially what FreeBSD did is it completely broke my SSD. Now I have a broken SSD. I don't know how to fix this. I really don't know how to fix this. Every time I would like try to install Arch, I cannot make a partition bootable, and therefore Grub would break because it wouldn't find the no bootable partition. Now, my fix to this was, of course, I tinkered around with Grub. I looked for it online. I watched some, like, I don't know, like 2 videos on YouTube. I have this philosophy right now where if I want to do something or to search something, don't search it on YouTube. YouTube should be the last place you search it on. Don't search on Reddit. Don't search on these Yahoo or whatever people search these days. I don't know. Do people search on YouTube? I don't know. Of course I don't. But I essentially searched it and nothing would work. So I came to the old Windows operating system. So I installed Windows on the SSD. It of course worked, and I formatted the other two hard drives that I have to NTFS. And now, then I plugged in my PopOS USB, and 3 times out of 4, uh, it gave me an error. It's basically the installer would give me an error, and the fourth time it gave me the same error. Like it's the same error every time, and but I took the risk and I rebooted the machine, thinking I would boot in like uh, with no operating system, thinking that my computer will tell me you have no operating system, but it worked. It booted up into PopOS. I don't know how it works, but it worked. I don't know. I don't judge. So now that it worked, I essentially updated my website, which contains what I'm saying right now, at least a part of what I'm saying. Uh, and yeah, BSD was a mess for me. I need to do the same thing that I did with Arch with BSD, essentially install it on virtual machines, but virtual machines are way different from what's it called? From physical hardware, which is a problem. Like really, it's a problem for me at least. Uh, Now coming back to Linux or GNU/Linux or wherever, every operating system that has the Linux kernel other than Android, uh, they have this unified Unix, not Unix, GNU like or Unix based commands, much like LSBLK. Now, on BSD, LSBLK does not list your block, it does nothing, it doesn't exist. You can install it by running do as pkg install lsblk and it would install it, but the output of it is just a mess. Like it's really just a mess. I'm so frustrated right now, but I don't care anymore. I came back to good old Pop OS, and I don't think I'm going back to DWM or any of that. I mean, yes, DWM is great. I love window managers. But I have a window manager here on Pop! OS, but I'm not using it. Essentially, I have Pop! OS right in front of me, right here, and I don't use the window manager because it's such a pain. I on Pop! OS I'm talking about, not on DWM. DWM is so easy to use for me. I can patch any key binding I want to it. But here, I don't know how. I looked for it everywhere, but in key bindings you can only edit the existing ones. You cannot add new ones, and that frustrates me. Why can't I add new ones? Wait, now thinking about it, can I install SXHKD like I did on BSPWM when I was using Debian? Huh, I may try it one day, why not? I may try it right now after this audio. And the last thing is I want to say is me editing. I have a lot of audios, I have like 6 audios, and I don't think I'm going to be uploading them to YouTube. I don't think I'm going to be uploading them. I may just redo them, or there is like one out of all of them that is like worth uploading. I don't know if I will, but essentially how I edit the videos. So Luke Smith has this script which takes inputs from a file which has the time stamps and the words that you want to put in, but it's kind of bad. I don't want to use it. As we talked, I just moved it into my user bin directory. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I'm going into KDN Live, but I am a long user of DaVinci Resolve 16. I have a lot of experience with it. I know really how to use it, but I think it's proprietary and it's kind of shit on Linux. It's so bad on Linux that I'm not coming back to it. I'm not coming back to it. It's either KDN Live or the slider script. You can find it on voidrice.localbin and slider on his GitHub. And you just like save page as, and that's it. Move it into your user bin directory. I think that's it. 12 minutes, 30 minutes. That's it. Thank you for listening as always, and goodbye.